You touched my heart again. Thank you so very much. What a sight you are. What a privilege to be here with you again. How much I appreciate your earnest support and your help. Thank you to Governor Nikki Haley for her wonderful introduction. She's a woman of uncommon courage and conviction, and her principles guide her governance. We need more governors like Nikki Haley. And thank you for your support from the very beginning. You were there from the very start and made a difference for me. Your campaign gave me that early boost. You worked on the front lines promoting my campaign. You made calls I owe to each of you and appreciate your support and help through that campaign. With the help of so many of you, I had the honor of becoming the nominee of our party for the presidency of the United States. I was given the great privilege of experiencing America in a way that Ann and I had never anticipated we would get to do. Our fellow citizens opened up their hearts and their homes to us. Of course, I left the race disappointed that I didn't win, but I also left honored and humbled to have represented the values we believe in and to speak for so many good and decent people. We've lost races before in the past, but those setbacks prepared us for larger victories. It's up to us to make sure that we learn from our mistakes and my mistakes, and that we take advantage of that learning to make sure that we take back the nation, take back the White House, get the Senate, and put in place conservative principles. Now, it's fashionable in some circles to be pessimistic about America, about conservative solutions, about the Republican Party. I utterly reject pessimism. We may not have carried on November 7th, but we haven't lost the country we love, and we have not lost our way. Our nation is full of aspirations and hungry for new solutions. We're a nation of invention and reinventing. My optimism about America wasn't diminished by my campaign. In fact, it grew. It grew as I saw the people of America and heard their stories. I've seen American determination in people like Debbie Summers of Las Vegas. She runs a furniture rental business for conventions there. When 9/11 hit and when the recession hit, that tanked her convention business. But she didn't give up. Didn't close down the business, didn't lay off her people. Instead, she taught her people how to make furniture, and her business thrives. I've seen perseverance. Harold Hamm drove a truck for 10 years so he could afford to go to college. He majored in geology. He was studying some geological surveys, concluded there must be oil in North Dakota. Went to North Dakota and drilled a well, dry hole. I'm told it cost $2 million to drill a dry hole. He drilled 16 more. They called it Harold's Folly up there till the 17th. The Bakken Range he discovered is estimated by some to have as many as 500 billion barrels of oil. I've seen risk-taking. The flagging lumber business and mounting losses convinced the International Paper Corporation that they needed to shut down their mill in Ossipee, New Hampshire. Into the breach stepped Jim Smith and Kim Moore, the plant manager and sales manager. They borrowed and invested everything they could find to buy the business. They saved their jobs and the jobs of 30 other of their colleagues, and they grew sales now from $5 million a year to $50 million a year. I've met people of great faith. Had the honor of being in the home of Billy Graham and the residence of Cardinal Dolan and prayed with these men of God. I met heroes in our armed forces, men and women who re-signed with the National Guard after multiple tours of duty in Afghanistan, knowing that as they re-signed, in all likelihood, they would be on another tour in the future. I met heroes in the homes of the nation. Single moms who are working 2 jobs so their kids can have the same kind of kids other kids in school have. dads who don't know what a weekend is because they've taken on so many jobs to make sure they can keep the house. We're a patriotic people. The heart of America is good. Our land is blessed by the hand of God. May we as a people always be worthy of His grace and His protection. Like you, I believe that a conservative vision can attract a majority of Americans and form a governing coalition of renewal and reform. Now, as someone who just lost the last election, I'm probably not in the best position to chart the course for the next one. But that being said, let me offer this advice. And perhaps because I'm a former governor, I would urge us all to learn lessons that come from some of our greatest success stories, and that's 30 Republican governors across the country. They're winning elections, but more importantly, they're solving problems, big problems, important problems. Governor Nathan Deal in Georgia secured a constitutional amendment to make sure they can have charter schools. Governor Rick Snyder got in place right-to-work legislation in Michigan. A number of these Republican governors were able to secure tort reform, and a whole horde of Republican governors inherited budgets that were badly out of balance and have replaced deficits with surpluses. Look, these governors have shown that they're able to reach across the aisle, offer innovative solutions, and then they're willing to take the heat that you have to take to do important things. We need the leadership and the ideas and the vision of these governors. We particularly need, by the way, to hear from the governors from the blue and purple states, because those are the states we're going to have to win to be able to get back the Senate and the White House. And so people like Bob McDonnell, Scott Walker, John Kasich, Susana Martinez, Chris Christie, Brian Sandoval, these are the people we got to listen to and make sure their message is heard loud and clear across the country. Now, we can also learn from the examples of principle and passion and leadership that we've seen during these last few weeks here in Washington, D.C. by our Republican leaders. I may be a little biased, but I applaud the clear and convincing voice of my friend Paul Ryan. Now, if I were to offer advice to any person who was or became the President of the United States, it would be this: do whatever you can to keep America strong, to keep America prosperous and free and the most powerful nation on earth. It's no secret that the last century was an American century, and it's no secret that over the span of the coming century, that is not written in the stars. America's preeminent position is not guaranteed. And the consequence, if America were to become surpassed by another nation, would be devastating. And why do I say that? It's because the other leading contenders for world leadership, China, Russia, the jihadists, not one of them accepts freedom as we understand it. Only America and American strength can preserve freedom for us and for the world and the people we love. Freedom depends on America, and American leadership depends on a military so strong, so superior, that no one would think to engage it. And our military strength depends on an economy so strong that it could support that kind of a military. And our economy depends on a people that are so strong, so educated, so resolute, so hardworking, so inventive, so focused on providing a better future for their children, that the rest of the world looks at America with admiration and respect. That's the America we grew up in. And that's the America our children deserve. Think about America Just think about America. What nation but ours would have enjoyed hegemonic military power for 25 years and never use it to seek revenge against its foes or to seize precious natural resources from the weak? What nation is the most philanthropic in the world, the first to bind up the wounds of the injured from hurricanes and tsunamis and war? What nation is the largest contributor to the fight in Africa against AIDS? Who came to the rescue of Europe when it faced its darkest hour and came to the rescue of others under the threat of tyranny in Korea, Vietnam, Panama, Bosnia, Kuwait, Afghanistan, Iraq? Whenever you think of these, whatever you think of these interventions, whatever, the impulse behind every single one of them was liberation, not conquest. In all of human history, there has never been a great power that has so often used that power to liberate others, to free the captives. This we must teach our children, and we must ourselves never forget. I'm inspired by a nation with people who live for something bigger than themselves: their school, their family, their community, their faith, their country. I marvel at the prescience and the brilliance and the sacrifices made by the founders. I'm proud of our immigrant heritage, proud that so many of us and of our ancestors came here because we wanted to be here, because they wanted to raise their families here and have a better future, and because they wanted to worship their God here according to the dictates of their own conscience. I was at a campaign stop in San Antonio, Texas. I met a guy named Sishan Siv. Sishan came here in 1976 to escape the killing fields in Cambodia. His first job was picking fruit. Then he was a cab driver in New York City. 1976, I believe, well, a little later than that, he joined the campaign of George Herbert Walker Bush as a volunteer. 13 years after coming to this country, he was given a job to work in the White House, then the State Department, and then he was appointed as a United States ambassador to the United Nations. He said that whenever he stood to speak in behalf of this great country, he would ask himself, in what other country in the world would an impoverished Cambodian refugee become its ambassador to the United Nations? This